Thanks very much, everyone, for attending. I'm Paul Farquharson, President and CEO of Cobalt Solutions. It's a pleasure to follow Colin because he's done my work for me here, talking about the deficit in cobalt and the demand for electric vehicles. We are a primary cobalt deposit, which is quite rare in the world. So we are not copper cobalt dependent or nickel cobalt dependent. We're a primary cobalt deposit. Our mission statement kind of sums up what we are for a company here. We're committed to providing a clean cobalt product essential for the growing rechargeable battery and renewable energy sector safely, responsibly, and transparently in the United States. We are the only company in the world that can make that statement. Everyone's totally aware of all the news lately that's coming out about banning diesel cars, Apple wanting to go directly to the miners. It's just happening more and more all the time. Electric vehicles are here to stay. NMC batteries, the lithium-ion batteries, are the batteries of choice. They're going to require lithium and cobalt for those batteries. So just a little bit about the highlights of our company itself. We're extremely advanced stage primary cobalt deposit. There's only one other primary cobalt deposit in the world that's in production, and that's in Morocco. We have all our environmental permits in place for the mine and mill, so we're ready to go. We will be producing a clean cobalt concentrate, and we talked about the supply deficit situation that we're actually in today with cobalt. So because of the advanced stage of this project, we can be in production in the fall of 2019. This is an actual photograph of the site itself. We did this work in 2012 and 2013. We've been on care and maintenance since 2013. These tailings waste storage facilities, they're about 15 acres each. You can see where we started to put the liner down. Our mill pad and concentrator were built in 2012. All of the equipment for the mill and the concentrator, which are the buildings themselves, the float cells, bridge cranes, transformers, all the crushing equipment and conveyors, were all bought and purchased when we did a financing in 2011. So that equipment is sitting in a warehouse in Salmon, Idaho, ready to go up on the hill. So the mine is 800 ton per day, underground mine in Salmon, Idaho, fully permitted. We will mill 800 tons, make a concentrate, 32 tons of concentrate per day, ship the concentrate one truckload to Blackfoot, Idaho. Blackfoot, our land in Blackfoot, Idaho is in an industrial park area, and it's on a railhead and major highway. So we will roast our concentrate in Blackfoot, Idaho, load it in 1-ton super sacks in 20-ton containers, and rail it out to the coast. So clean cobalt con, environmentally permitted. You can see the infrastructure we have here, a lot of money spent to date, and our existing feasibility study, which we are going to update, has a 12-and-a-half-year mine life. So this is our main transformer for our site. That was installed in the fall last year. So there's power right to the site now. Our goal as we stand here today is to get our optimized feasibility study completed. It will be done this quarter, so it's about a month away from being a public document. We've traveled the globe talking to potential off-takers, financiers to come in and assist us with putting the project into production. We're getting a lot of interest, obviously, because there's quite a deficit in cobalt, and our contained cobalt production for a year will be about 1,500 tons of cobalt. And in today's market, that's about 1.5% of the world's supply. We're running pilot tests on our ore now to produce the clean cobalt con. And when I say clean cobalt con, that is a concentrate with less than 0.5% arsenic in it. So we roast the con to drive the arsenic off and encapsulate it in a glass through a vitrification process, and that arsenic becomes inert, and it's a landfill product. And pre-construction activities underway at the site as we speak. What we're concentrating on today is the environmental systems to get them all in place. by the time the optimized feasibility study comes out. And we've gone from 5 or 6 people staff-wise in the last 6 or 8 months. We've got about 30 staff now, mostly senior engineers, underground miners, process managers, environmental managers, safety managers. We're beefing up the team to be able to move into a total operational stage. So just a general high-level timeline here. Optimized feasibility study out this quarter, environmental systems in place. You saw the transformer that we installed in the fall. So we have to electrify our pump-back well system. The pump-back wells were installed in 2012. We'll electrify them. The liner for the tailings waste storage facility has to be completed. And we purchased a water treatment plant for the facility from Veolia. It's being delivered to the site as we speak. Foundations are being laid down. Once we have that work done, which we anticipate by the end of June, and our optimized feasibility study to come out, we will make a production decision at that point in time. Our critical path is going underground. So we have our underground contractor selected. If we can get underground in Q3 2018, we can have initial production in Q4 2019 and full production in the first half of 2020. So it's just because of the advanced nature of the project that we can get into production so fast. So the key highlights of what's going to happen with our optimized feasibility study: we did a drill program in the fall. We announced an updated resource report. That resource has not rolled into a reserve yet. That will happen with a new feasibility study. We have our own staff, so we have our underground mining engineers. They have looked at the mine plan and mine schedule. We've reduced our dilution in this new study from 35% down to under 15%, just more targeted on our ore. So it's 100% drift and fill or cut and fill mining versus long hole stoping. And our new flow sheet with the clean concentrate will be part of the new feasibility study. So here's our reserve from the previous feasibility study. This will be updated. So we had about 35 million pounds of cobalt, 53,000 ounces of gold, and 50 million pounds of copper. This will be updated with our new study as part of the resource. The resource is already updated. So here's the updated resource, and I think the takeaway from this slide here is for $500,000, we increased our resource by 430,000 tons, which is over 5 million pounds of cobalt at a grade of 0.6%. So this is extremely high-grade project. We always transfer very well from a resource to reserve, so we're looking for some pretty stellar numbers in our optimized feasibility study. This is the RAM deposit, which encompasses the entire feasibility study. You can see here, these are the hotter the color, the higher the grade. So this is 1% cobalt. This is 0.5 and higher. We're using this sweeping ramp system so we can go out and set up drill stations out here for drilling underground once we get underground. This line here, it doesn't cut off the ore. That just cuts off where our drilling is. So the RAM deposit, about 1 kilometer long, it's open along both strike lengths and at depth. So lots of room to expand just on this deposit itself. And here's just a picture of our land package. So there's a blow up of the RAM deposit here. It's really an extension of the Blackbird deposit. The Blackbird deposit mined about 2 million tons of ore, grading about 0.6%. This deposit now has had a cleanup on it, and it will never be accessed from the surface again. We've had additional drilling on East Sunshine and Sunshine. They've returned assay grades higher than our cutoff grade. We are in the middle of the Idaho Cobalt Belt. There's lots of opportunity for us to expand. Here's our cash position, $37 million, 159 million shares outstanding. We have a little bit of coverage from 8 Capital and Canaccord. The goal for us now will be to get our optimized feasibility study out and finance the balance of the project with our potential off-takers. Lots of depth on our board here. And just to sum up, extremely advanced project, environmentally permitted, dry stack tailings, clean water discharge, lots of upside on the resource, growing demand in the market, which we know with the deficit in cobalt, and this is a transparent, ethical supply of cobalt in the United States. Thank you.